Om Sri Mahaganapataye Namaha. Om Sri Saraswatye Namaha. Sadashiva Samarambham Vyasa Shankara Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Vande Guru Paramparam Shruti Smruti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpada Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Loka Shankaram Samastajana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahmavidvaram Sadgurum Brahmavidvaram Om Sri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha Om Sri Tapovana Sishyaya Namaha Hari Om. So let us do the Shanti Patha of the Chandogya Upanishad first. Om Apyayantu Mamangani Vak Pranaschakshushrotramatho Balamindriyani cha Sarvani Sarvam Brahmopanishadam Maham Brahma Nirakuryam Ma Brahma Nirakarot Anirakaranamastva Nirakaranam me astu Tadatmani Nirate Upanishatsu Dharmaha Te Mai Santu Te Mai Santu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Okay. We are doing Chandogya Upanishad, 6th chapter. We have so far completed 15 sections of the 6th chapter. It has 16 sections. So today is the last class of this section. Sorry, of this Upanishad. So today I will try to give a summary at the end of this class if time permits. So we'll directly go to the mantra. Mantra number 16 or section number 16, mantra number 1. Yes. First mantra, Purusham Somya Uta Hastagruhitam Anayanti Apaharshit Teyam Akarshit Parasuhu Tasmai Tapata iti sa yadi tasya karta bhavati tataha eva anrutam atmanam kurute. So anrutabhisandaha anrutena atmanam antardhaya parasum taptam pratigunnati dahyate atha hanyate. I will read this mantra again, first mantra. Purusham Saumya Uta Hastagruhitam Anayanti Apaharshit Teyam Akarshit Parashum Asmai Tapata iti sa yadi tasya karta bhavati tataha evam eva anrutam atmanam kurute. So saha anrutam abhisandaha anrutena atmanam antardhaya parasum taptum pratigunnati dahyate adha hanyate. That's mantra number 1. Mantra number 2 also I will chant. Atha yadi tasya akarta bhavati tata eva satyam atmanam kurute sa satyabhisandaha saha satyena atmanam antardhaya parashum taptam pratigunnati sa na dahyate adha muchyate. Again I will read. Atha yadi tasya akarta bhavati tataha eva satyam atmanam kurute sa satyabhisandaha satyena atmanam antardhaya parasum taptam pratigunnati sa na dahyate. Let us do number 3 also. Yes, very good. Sa yatha tatra na adahyeta aitadatmamidam sarvam tat satyam sa atma tattvamasi svetaketo iti tadhasya vijajñau iti. Sa yatha tatra na adahyeta etadatma तदाह्येत ऐददात्ममिदगं सर्वं तत्सत्यं स आत्मा तत्त्वमसि श्वेतकेतो इति तद्हास्य विजिज्ञौ इति. Okay. Here, okay, the question here is the Advaita truth or Dvaita the final truth? Okay. Advaita means individual and then God and the world are one. Now, if we see the world, then it is only a transactional nama rupa only. There is no fundamental separation. The world is nothing but mere nama rupa projection within one reality, and that reality is non-dual. Just like in a dream, everything is nothing but the mind of the dreamer. Advaita is in which everything arises as a world as well as the individual arises in one principle, which if you call it God, you can call Antaryami, all pervading inner principle, you can call it. But that is same as individual in reality. Whereas in Dvaita, Dvaita means the individual is different from God. And God is extraterrestrial. He is somewhere outside the whole creation. So creation is also separate from individual. So the three. The name Dvaita comes from the relative relation between God and individual and the world. That is Dvaita. Now, what happens in Dvaita, the individual is put into the world based upon his karma and prarabdha in the right place or wherever he belongs. Then he is always transacting with the world, and depending upon his situations, he is praying God, he is outside this particular sphere of existence, and then he is protecting you as a outsider. Whereas in Advaita, he and you are one. And then world doesn't touch you when you realize it. Because it's just Nama Rupa. It's only an appearance. Okay. So if world is appearance and doesn't touch you, can there be an experiment to show whether it is Dvaita or Advaita? Okay, Chandogya Upanishad, what are we doing? We are showing by experiments various answers to various questions. Or common examples from the world, like rivers, like a tree, to answer some of the questions. Honey, bee, honey, hive, beehive, like that. Common examples and also small experiments sometimes. So combination of them we are doing using the questions answering. Here also can there be an experiment to kind of, so yes, what the Upanishad does is, if a person is truthful, okay, let me back off. This is called Tapta Parushu experiment. Tapta Parushu means a axe that is hot, burning hot. In the olden days, and it's possible it is done even now, I have witnessed myself, my young age in my village in India, one community, one day they were going into outside, going through the streets, holding one person, and they're announcing what they are going to do. So I asked them what is happening, and they told that this person is accused of stealing something important. Now we are going to test him. How would they test him? Is they would go take him to the. They are all to go to the meadows. They will have a fire of hot, bonfire, you can say, and they put a axe burning to red hot, and then he is instructed in the presence of a lot of music and dance going on there, and he said, if you please lift it and hold it in your hands. And then if he's get burnt, he is a thief. If he does not get burnt, he has not done the stealing. This is how it works. And in my childhood, I actually witnessed a procession going, and then they announcing this, and then I was told this is the testimony. Then on the way back, I saw them, asked them, and they said he did not burn. So he was vindicated. He was actually not a thief. So it works. I heard and saw, I didn't see physically because I was in the school, but when they went, I heard. When they came back, I heard. And then the people asked the question, and then I was told he did not burn his hands. Called Tapta Parusu. Taskara means thief. So, in the same way, if you are a Dvaiti, world is still real to you. Adhyatmika, Adi Bhautika, Adi Daivika. These are three afflictions every human being goes through. Internal, Adhyatmika, Adi Bhautika from other beings outside, Adi Daivika, unseen forces, calamities like thunders and floods and all these things, which we have no control, earthquakes. These three tapas means hardships we go through. In Dvaita, and we pray God. Whereas if you are self-realized, you accept them as just acts of Prakriti and you are not touched by it. Guna guneshu vartante iti matvana sajjate, Sri Krishna says. These things happen, but I am not touched by it because you are so subtle. You are a totality. And then flow doesn't touch you. Consciousness is free from attachment of ego. When you are attached to the body, you have problems. Adhyatmika, mind, Adhyatmika. Adi Bhautika, outside, same. Feelings, perceptions, emotions, they're all. But if you are consciousness, if you realize you are that pure presence, you are liberated from the samsara. So you are not touched. So test is, does the world affect you? In the past, this discussion came, I have said, when you are making progress in spiritual path, you first notice the frequency of the effects on the world to you decrease. Same situation doesn't affect you as much. Even if it touches you, intensity is not that much. And intensity also, recovery time also reduces. Because you know it's a mithya. It is not you. In you it is appearing. Without your awareness, world's problems are not there in you. Awareness means you support it. Once you are free, you are as though woken up in the middle of a dream, but still watching the dream. The mithya means that world is still there because the world is a product of the cosmic karma has created world. You are not the only person. The karma of all the people created the world. They are also exhausting, but you are not touched by it because you know its appearance in you. Excellent. So this is how it works. The practical proof is you feel more relaxed. You're less touched by the effects of the world. And in meditation, you also know have no thoughts. Meditation means when you're withdrawn. When you become established, even with eyes open, you're very relaxed. You are connected to the totality because your ego is dropped. See, when the ego becomes nobody, you become everybody. Everybody means everything is coming through you, going through you. The ego becomes big, you become small. You means your consciousness, which is a fundamental principle, becomes small. Then everything bothers you because you know is small, the world is big. So it's all inversely proportional to the intensity of the ego. It is like you are with a conscious space, not this and that. When you watch yourself through this and that becomes separate, you forget the conscious space. When you realize this and that both arise in the conscious space, you become peaceful, secure, fearless. Because the world is doing its job. Prakrite kriyamanani guna sarvasyaha. Punikarma sarvasyaha. So last week I read that Prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasyaha. All the activities are going through because of the nature which is product of karmic composite karma. You are not touched because you are subtle now. Ahankara vimudhatma karta. But the egoistic person thinks he is involved in this. And he forgets the total principle and your consciousness untouched by it. So this is the so now I will now with that introduction I will read the mantra now. Purushagam Soumya Uta Astagruhitam Anaya. So one person they brought with hands tied. They brought Anayanti. Apaharshit. He has stolen something. Stem Akarshit. He has performed theft. Stem is theft. Akarshit. Then Parashum Asmay Tapa iti. For him to test him, heat. Tapa means heat to red hot. A axe. So this is the discussion going on now. Saha yadi tasya karta bhavati. If this person, if he has actually done the theft, tataha eva anrutam atmanam kurute. Then, if he has already done it, then he is actually has impurified himself. He has he has become false identity through his mind and nervous system. Saha amrutabhisandhaha. So, because it's connected with untruth, anrutena atmanam antardhaya, having covered himself with untruth. Basically, his nervous system as well as his flesh is now drenched in untruth, and he knows that. Parasum taptam with that kind of a impure and affected body, if he takes the heated parasum taptam pratigruhnati, if he takes it, dahyate, he gets burnt. Atha hanyate, and then he will be punished. Hanyate means actually killed, but in this context, he will be punished or jailed. So if we have constantly complaining and if you're constantly affected by the adhyatmika, adibodhika, adidaivika afflictions, we are not consciousness. So we are actually covered ourselves with body, mind, intellect, perceptions, emotions, and we are attached to them, seeking happiness through them, forgetting our true happiness. So the world burns us. And then we also are reborn. So we can be jailed. What is jail in this context? In the case of a real thief, we are in jail. But in the case of us, we are reborn. So if you are liberated, you are not touched. World passes through you. In the same way, if the person who is not a thief, he is covered by truth, so the burning doesn't happen to him. Okay, if he is not covered by truth, he will get burned. So mantra number 2 gives the opposite. What it says, yadi adha yadi tasya karta bhavati. If he has actually tasya akarta bhavati. If he has not actually done the theft, tata eva satyam atmanam kurute. Then he is free from guilt. Satyam is covered by truth of virtue. Satya means virtue in God. He is covered by the truth. Nothing will happen to him. The clarity in his heart. Sa satya abhisandha. So he is now, abhisandha means is covered. No, abhisandha means connected with satya. Uh, Satyena atmanam antardhaya. With the truth covering himself. Antardhaya means cover. Yeah. Parasum taptam pratigunati. If he with that cover of the truth, lack of guilt and positivity and clarity, parasum taptam pratigunati saha na dahyate. He does not get adha muchyate. He is liberated. So test is how much world is bothering you. You are constantly complaining, you are living in perceptions, ideas, emotions, and feelings. And then you are being burnt. And then you have no choice, you have to continue the process. Or get jail means you are reborn. So the answer is that if you are covered by the knowledge of the truth, it will protect you. Even at the time of death, if you actually people say at the time of just before death, everything clears, clouds clear up, the knowledge that you have pops up. The knowledge is I am not this, I am just pure awareness. It's like light. It's like a conscious space. It's called Chidakasha it is called. See, ego travels in the direction of time and space, back, past, present, and future. The ego travels. It's like one wave, straight, going like a. Whereas a person liberated is like a conscious aware space. Various movements from different people pass through him, but he is not any one of them. That's Prakriti. So if you constantly live in the past, that's one. You are not living the present. When you can only live in the present if you allow ego collapses. What happens if the ego collapses? You become everybody. You become the Chidak, Chidakasha. It's like a luminous space. Don't take the word luminous literally. It means conscious space. When you are sometimes when you wake up in the morning in the twilight of that difference, before you be fully conscious, you have that clarity. Ego has not risen up. Sometimes you feel very relaxed. Nothing can bother you. The whole day you feel such or quite a long. That's sometimes you feel so happy, unconditional happiness. That is pure state of Chidakasha. It is only there's a specific, there's no reflected happiness there. Reflected means it came out of the objects. Then the ego is involved. Mind is involved. If it is pure happiness by itself, then mind might come, but you're not affected by it. You still live in the present. You operate in the present. Pure liberation. Okay. So, so basically, the point is made. In our life also, we have times, situations where we are happy without any reason. And that can be our state. Then world passes through you. Don't complain that God has done this for us. God has given me all this. No. You are attached to it and then you are complaining. So Bhagavan Krishna, beautiful, many times he says this in Bhagavad Gita. A couple of slokas I will take. This is chapter 5, 14th verse. न कर्तृत्वं न कर्माणि लोकस्य सृजति प्रभुः न कर्मफल संयोगं स्वभावस्तु प्रवर्तते. Chapter 5, 14th verse. न कर्तृत्वं न कर्तृत्वं means doership. न कर्माणि लोकस्य सृजति प्रभुः. Are the prompted, desire prompted actions, are the will, the compulsive desire to get something out of the world. That's Katrutva Bhava. Lokasya Srudati Prabhu. God does not create it. God is detached, eternal awareness principle. In His presence, any activity is possible. If you connect with Him, the body just does the job, but it has no Katrutva, Bhotrutva. Katrutva means expecting something in the future constantly. Sorry, Bhoktrutva, expecting something in the future. Bhoktrutva means sense of enjoyment, expectation, enjoyment. You are not full. You are expecting fullness from something outside. Then you act accordingly. That is all Kartrutva. Kartrutva means activity, acting egoistic activities. Bhotrutva means through that action expecting some result for your happiness. Bhagavan in this sloka is saying, none of them I have created you with. You have developed those. Karma, na karma phala sanyogam. Karma phala means expectations of fruits of action in the future. Kamana means desire. For getting something out of outside, Now your mind and body are now thinking as separate entities, then they are not full. You want to get fullness out of the world by extracting something based upon your past conditioning. This is you. Swabhavastu pravartate. It is through our nature that we have developed. So that is the reason everybody don't see happiness in the same object or same intensity happy in the same object. Ultimately, world doesn't give you happiness. That realization means you are infinitely happy. Just world passes through you. Similarly, he says, "Oh, I am a sinner," and all that. No, no. Bhagavan Krishna said, "Nadatte kasyachit papam nachayeva sukritam vibhu." I don't create anybody as sinners, nor I create anybody as virtuous persons. Ajnanena avrutam jnanam tena muhyanti. Because you do not know who you are, you keep on complaining and deluding yourself. I have no, I'm not giving you a sins or I'm not giving you virtues as an individual, punishing you or rewarding you. I am not. I am all pervading, free, all pervading, free entity. In me, you appear like in a dream. Now, if you look through your mind, you forget me because I am infinite. Mind only can see finite. So when the mind drops finitude, it realizes it is actually a, the cause is infinite. Peace. When the peace is essentially our nature, then is infinite. All these words are important. But when you lose peace, then you become finite. So God is really, it should not say infinite because it's mental thinking. God is not finite. That space like presence, consciousness. When you withdraw your attention to your pure awareness, which is possible, and practice that, then you start seeing your thoughts, seeing yourself as only sensations, as also as temporary. They don't bother you as much in the beginning. Slowly, they practically have no effect on you. Bhagavan is not giving you unhappiness. You want to be unhappy using the projecting mind. And then the mind can only see finitude. And because of that, it just experiences finitude. It is your habits. What about Bhagavan? I will say one verse. Samam sarveshu bhuteshu tisthantam parameshwaram vinasyat savinatsantam yah pasyati sapashyati. Be very clear. Our scriptures are very clear. God is right here as the internal existential principle through everyone as one. Samam sarveshu bhuteshu. Intrinsic and extrinsic, they call it. Intrinsic principle, just like a screen on which a movie is shown. And you are caught up in the movie, you forget the screen. Intrinsic, which is everywhere, it is all perfect. That is you. So how do vinatsatsu avinashyantam yah pasyati sapashyati. Those persons who see the eternal principle in temporary things, in temporal things that are controlled by time. Eternity means unaffected by time. What is unaffected by time? The screen. What is affected by time? The movie. The person who sees the eternal principle through the changing things, like our body and mind. Because without your awareness, the body and mind are not there. Shift your attention to awareness. And then remember that as your knowledge. Gradually, with perceptions, feelings, and emotions become just like a play. They come and they go. None of them are you. But you never separated that from you. Then vinatsetsu avinashyantam yah pashyati sapashyati. The person who realizes there is a screen behind this movie, there is something that's changeless in the changing world. Right now, he is done. Krishna, every chapter he has few verses like this. That's why I always say 1 or 2 chapters you memorize, some beautiful, then you actually get interested to memorize more. Actually, verse number 29 also, Samam pasyanhi sarvatra samavasthitam ishwaram nahinas atmanatmanam tato yati param gatim. This is chapter 13, 29th verse. If you see that evenness all the time, then you do not persecute yourself. Nahinas atmanatmanam tatoya. When you don't persecute yourself, you are established in that essential infinite oneness. So don't get this Advaita Dvaita thing make you feel so bhakti is wrong. No. Bhakti also, para bhakti is there. Bhagavan Krishna means Ananya Bhakti it is called. Jnana is same as Ananya Bhakti. So bhakti means ability to connect. And in para bhakti you connect completely. That also Krishna says many times. So with this we actually complete the 16 sections. Fundamentally, the third mantra, he says, I need to complete third mantra. Third mantra, he says, Sa yadha tatra na dahyeta. When the person is pure, the way he is not burnt, in the same way, aitadatmamidam sarvam, this essential aitadatmamidam, this all pervading pure presence, consciousness, tat satyam is the truth. Sa Atma. Even the names and forms are also Atma. Tattvamasi, you are that all-pervading essential principle, awareness. He Swetaketo. Once again, this is the 9th time it is said, Tattvamasi. Tadha Asya. Tat means that teaching. Upanishad is now making a statement. That teaching Asya of the Guru. Vijajnau iti. I got it. I understand it. I understand it. It says twice. It means the chapter is being closed. When they say 2 times, it means the chapter is being closed. Vijajnau iti. I understand. Atat satyam, I understand. Tattvamasi svetaketo. I understand. So he asked this question, tell me again 8 times. And then in the 8th time after, he said, okay, now I got it. See, knowledge is what you have to get. That protects you. Then through this slowly, through this practice, you become detached. But without knowledge, detachment cannot happen. Knowledge has to be firm. Then listening more and more, then detachment, expansion will take place. When you become nobody, you become everybody. As I said earlier, when you become nobody means ego should be very small. Then you are not limiting yourself to one direction, horizontal time, past and future, then don't live in the present. When you live in the present, you become consciousness. It has no objectivity in it. Always is. No projection of future or past. It just is. That is why it's called existence, being. You are that being, ever present being. Then your mind, I and mine. M-I-N-E, mine. Mine will come after I. I am comes first. You stop there, you are full, you are done. That's what. So, so aparoksha jnana means I am that. Not it's not something that like somewhere else. That aparoksha jnana is possible when you learn, when you hear, when you knowledge is only liberation. Knowledge is the power. Then what about Nididhyasana? You implement it, but knowledge is always there. You are never limited body. It is just like a dream. You are never limited perceptions. That clarity, once it's there, Nididhyasana becomes constant affirmation of this. With eyes open, eyes closed, and essentially connecting with yourself, not focusing on your individualized, one directional desires and kartutva bhavana, bhututva bhavana. Okay? So now I will quickly summarize what we learned, because this is very wonderful subject matter. So the 6 chapters summary I will give you. First 1 to 7 sections. It requires discusses about the tat, what we in the universe, I and it. There are two things. Whatever I am not, we call it it. It could be God also. In the beginning, we don't know. Everything other than me is it. So, but then the whole universe includes you also. So, in the beginning, it's Sadeva Sauma Idamagra Asid. In the second section, started. The only existence consciousness is there. Non-dual. Only. Ekameva Advitiyam. There is no second principle in there. You and I is not there. It's only I am is there. Everybody is I am. Stop there. Then from there, the Upanishad went on saying that fire is manifested within it. Just like a globe, a crystal, in where you are projecting movies. Crystal ball. In the same way, in that, Agni first appeared. In the form, Agni becomes form. Then from there, water appeared. Then Prithvi. Prithvi means earth. Solid. Earth is not grass, it is solid. Then they combined to make the what we call the present fire and what we see physically as the water or liquids, and then physically as we see Prithvi, solids combined. So these are principles first. One from basically all pervading became more and more finite. And then we go back to become all pervading. Now they gave a few examples to say the whole universe is made of these three, and then he say Agni is redness, Jalam is white, Prithvi is dark. So everything is made of three. So basically, on one end, darkness, there is no light. Dark. On the other end, white. All possible combinations of colors is called white. In the middle, there is selected one color, just to make you happy. But white has no colors. Dark has no light at all. Everything is a combination of these three. So as you turn down the light, it becomes dark and dark. But various colors are also turning down at the same time. Then finally, no color, no light, no color. Appearance is all in colors. It happens from total darkness to total white, everything including the white. Then in the middle they select one color, but all colors in the middle go. So everything is a combination of three elements, subtle elements. Fire, water subtle element, and subtle Prithvi. That's the number. So the Upanishad says, if you know that, what is that? By knowing which you know everything, you also thought everything of. So the answer to that is, if you know the cause, all the effects are known. What is the cause? The crystal ball in which the projections are being made. The cause is crystal ball. Appearances are just comes and goes. So there are effects. So what? So the Upanishad is saying the Brahman is the cause. In that, whatever is appearing is just a name and form. Vacharam vikaro namadheyam. It is just a mental. Your consciousness even now, within your mind, within your when you identify with it and that, I and that, I and it, then you separate the same consciousness into and you get conditioned. So how do you go back? You realize there is a Sat Brahman behind everything. Sadeva Saumya is behind everything even now. It's all appearing because it is projected inside him, just like a movie. There are no two things. God and world, they are not two. It is only appearance in God only. So if you know Brahman, you know everything. That is how the first 7 sections are developed. Then, eighth section, they do tvampara vichara. An individual now will complain, how about me, me, me? You are actually in the world. You are the world itself. It includes you. But we somehow cannot accept this. We are always treat ourselves as separate. Then he says, you are nothing but that which is subtler than the subtlest. That is the essence of you also. That is the truth. Aitadatmamidam satyam. The same that is pervading around the whole universe as names and forms, including you. That is you, He Svetaketu, Tattvamasi. So now where is the consciousness? You are aware. So how do you realize that awareness is you? It is always present. Without that awareness, world cannot be experienced. World includes perceptions, emotions, and feelings. That's called Namarupa. They rise in awareness. Now, how do I know? Because you are forgetting yourself and then you are identifying with the Namarupas, and then you are separating the awareness as two, I and that, and then you. That's so. If you go back to yourself, He Tattvamasi. So, what if you know Atma Vijnanena Sarvam Vijnanam Bhavati? If you know who you are as consciousness, awareness, being and awareful. Stop there. Now don't add descriptions to it. When you add descriptions, now I, my body, all this, I have a, I have a, no, all these things now bring you down to creature, not the creator. Then from the, so basically eighth chapter has discussed Tvampada and they said Tattvamasi, you are that awareness consciousness principle. That is Sat, Sadeva. So world is that, you are that. So you are all one. World, you and the God, whatever you call, is nothing but awareness consciousness. You and the world appear in it. From the looking from the look from the kind of view of the awareness, samam, the oneness. Sama means evenness. Bhagavan Krishna's chapter 13, a couple of slokas I read earlier. So in the same, so now Tattvamasi, the question from 9th chapter to 16th chapter, which we finished today, the discussion now is what about how do we actually see that connection through various discussions. No, see, Tattvam Asi. The Asi means right now. Asi means present. You are that right now. Not in the past, not in the future. You are now that. So what happens? It applies also in the past and future also. See, everything is experienced only in the present only. Past is also you are that, future also you will be that. Because in the future also you will be present at that time. So consciousness, awareness is your true nature. Ego, borrowed, limited identity is your conditioned nature based upon the past. Everybody is conditioned. But Guru is trying to remove that conditioning and say, you are that. Now that knowledge is most important. Experience will gradually develop, but whether experience or not, if knowledge is there, it gradually transforms you. So then several questions were asked. I have explained in each one of them. They have given actually 8 examples were given from 7 to 16. Sorry, from 9 to 16, right? Until 8th chapter, 8th Tattvamasi, now 9 to 16. So first one is honey example. Why don't we in the deep sleep? We have found that all pervading infinite presence in deep sleep. Why don't I know? It is because all the names and forms and the mind has disappeared. In samadhi, mind disappears, but it's the awareness is there. Mind, its finitude is lost. That is possible even with eyes open. If it is only possible in samadhi, then you would never learn. Samadhi is only a way of initially confirming that that is possible. But deep sleep example gives you are that infinite existence. Then, so in awarefulness, what you do, you see the world from the background of pure mind and happiness. That is deep sleep, the state of. So that is the example of honey is honey comes from different flowers, but once they are mixed, they forget. In the same way, whether you're a man, a tiger, or a lion, once you go into deep sleep, mind drops. So you would not know, but you are now you merge in Sat. That is a proof. It is possible. Then the next example, reverse is given. The question here is if rivers they're all coming from the ocean, but we forget they are water. We give different names for transactional purposes, and then we say the river is joining into water. But water, it's always been water. In the same way, you are all. So you just be aware, even with transaction going through senses going through you, be aware. Then the example of a tree is given that you have rebirth. Just like one part of the tree might die, some other part will die. So there is a continuity of consciousness. Some sections will die and some sections will be alive. Like that, we are all part of the total tree of samsara. Okay? Then the example of a banyan tree is given. Why subtle consciousness is not seen? So the example is just subtle, the finest seed of a banyan tree produces a huge banyan tree. But we don't see banyan tree there. Anytime anything is subtle, it requires discrimination and clarity. Okay, that example is given. Then example of salt in water is given. So how do I know? You use a proper pramana. If you put water, a pinch of salt in water, you don't see salt anymore, but you can taste it. So in the same way, if you understand who you are, you need to have the Veda Pramana, Upanishad Pramana. The Guru is telling you are awareness, and then you have to work on it slowly, but first understand it is possible. So Lavana Dustanta, Lavana means salt. example is to show if you taste it, you know. So you have to use the right pramana. In the case of consciousness also, you have to use the right pramana. So you withdraw your mind. Don't use the mind to see who you are. The mind gives you wrong information because mind is extroverted. When it is extroverted, it becomes finite. When it becomes finite, it cannot. So only mind itself expands through the loss of ego. Then you become, you know. That's Shastra only can tell you. Then the question will come, what about, so okay, Shastra is there. I can read Shastra, internet is full of information, Vedanta, Advaita, even I can browse the internet or I can use the chat GPT. Do I need a guru? Yes. A guru is given, example is given by a Purush, somebody who's lost in the forest, hands tied, and also. So guru has to liberate him because he cannot help himself. Once you are ignorant, somebody has to give you the proper guidance, give you open up and set you free. Then the question has come whether the liberated person versus ignorant person, do they die the same way? Yes, they die the same way. If the liberated person, a lot of people accept a liberated person should die immediately, then you have no guru. That doesn't make any sense. Liberation does not, because you are thinking body is the source of bondage. No, your identification with the body is the source of bondage, not the body. Body is just an appearance. So you're thinking as soon as you liberated, body should fall. That is because you're still thinking you are the body. That's the reason that question comes. So, but then the liberated person will gradually, when the body falls, he will not be attached. Even once he is liberated, even when the body is dying, he is not as much attached. He has no fear. He has no insecurity. Then the last example is if the Dvaita real or Advaita real. It says Advaita is real because if you are not hurt by the world anymore. So the whole chapter in the second section it started Sadeva Saumya Idamagra Asit Ekameva Advitiyam. Golden sentence. Whole universe has only one reality. Sadeva Idam. That is in the beginning and also it's now there. That's how it started. And it concludes as how? Aitadatmamidam sarvam tat satyam sa atma tattvamasi. That sat is pervading aitadatmamidam. It is the essential one nature of the whole universe. Sarvam tat satyam. That is the essential truth. Sa atma. Even the names and forms are also that. You are tattvamasi. You are that. Hey Svetaketu. A son for all of us. So how it started and it ended like that. Right now you are Sat. The world of samsara is a drama that you are caught up in. Then it is Sat, even now it is Sat. Aware and being. That is your essential nature. Then everything that exists comes out of it because you are attached to it. But if you become unattached to it, it exists like a dream. It has no value. It has some information, but it doesn't affect you. It is as though you are waken up. So the whole starts saying the world is Advaitam. World means the three is only one. And then Advaita, the only reality. Jiva, God, and then world are essentially appearances. But as long as you are not liberated, you should use God as for sadhana purposes. For upasana, don't immediately negate God. No. You negate your ego first. Until that point, you have to have self respect for others, see godliness in others, and then treat God as a essential awareness present all over the universe as the internal intrinsic principle, not extraterrestrial, intrinsic principle. And he's totally detached. He is not sending sinners down or liberating people out of randomly, no. So one thing before I forget, I want to thank the you know the organizers of the Jnana Mandir. They're wonderful. They've done a great job, and also the Guru Parampara, particularly our Acharya Swami Bodhatmananda and Swami Tejomayanji, and then our Guru Swami Chinmaya Maharaj, because of whom we learned so much. And then I have tendency to not to be consistent. When I chant, sometimes I break the sandhi, sometimes I do not break the sandhi. Yeah. But both of them are okay, but it's not consistent. So some of these kind of things, if you find not really consistent, it's my mistake. And if I made any mistakes when I'm explaining, it is completely my mistakes. Okay. Our teachers have done a wonderful job. I'm only trying to be a medium to do my best. Okay. Now, the tradition, when we complete, we still chant the Shanti Pata. I will just chant it. Om Apyayantu Mamangani Vak Pranaschakshushrotramadho Balamindriyani Cha Sarvani Sarvam Brahma Upanishadam Maham Brahma Nirakuryam Ma Brahma Nirakarot Anirakaranamastu Nirakaranam Me Astu Tadatmani Nirateya Upanishatsu Dharmaha Te Mai Santu Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti